Hey everyone. We are going to be discussing James's book, Too Soon Pero Too Late. French Grace, American Collapse, Colombian Care. And Hawtorn V. Rabot, did I pronounce that right?
I don't know. I just kind of made that one up on the fly. I thought of it as B Rabbit from 8 Mile Eminem.
Oh, okay. I like it. I
Yeah,
like
but
it.
made it quirkier than that.
Yeah, it's great. And we probably won't have time to get into all the publishing details, but I would be so curious to even ask what was the experience of publishing this like? I know
I've got 2 more ready to go, and I don't wanna do it.
I heard you say that with Lee. Yeah. But it's great. You burst this into being from your mind, and now it exists in the world. I will start with a little introduction and people can filter in. But it's so lovely to have you here, James. And for anyone who doesn't know you yet, you write under the name Hawtorn V Rebel. And I'll just read out the description that you have on your Substack. You say, I'm a guy who writes. I was never supposed to. I never really learned how. Somehow it's become a part of who I am and I need it. I'm a father, a teacher. I'm self published. I'm James. I just love that. I first came across you, I can't remember if it was like 6 months or a year ago, but I read one of your essays that you wrote about something deeply painful from your past. And I was just stopped in my tracks about your unguarded honesty. And I think you have this special gift of courage in your writing, and you cultivate people naturally flock around your writing. And I think it's because when we see something that courageous in writing, it's like you just want to be near it because it feels like it could rub off on you. I don't, I'm seeing lots of hearts, so I think some people are agreeing with me with this. But tell me if I'm right. You published under two publications, Hawtorn v. Rabot and another one, Wounds, or is that?
Oh, no, small ones, and I did a collab.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And it was having issues syncing over the weekend, so it put me on hers for some reason. I kept emailing support, and they fixed it yesterday without saying, "Oh, there was nothing wrong, though."
Oh, okay. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I saw that. I was like, oh, that's an interesting collab. You've grown this Substack to almost 2,000 now in a short period of time. You've been on the bestseller literature
Right.
list, rising a couple times, and you've actually built your Substack from the ground up, what, two or three times?
I've lost count.
It's remarkable. Yeah, it's remarkable. And we're not going to go into Substack strategy deep today. And I don't know if you even have a strategy, but you're doing something right. And I watch from the outskirts. I can see you have this rallying effect with people
Thank you.
on Substack, and you really go to bat for people. You really help uplift people and help other people gain subscribers. Yeah, it's pretty remarkable to watch, and there's something in that's really working. Do you have any thoughts about that? You notice that too?
Kind of think of it as my first year teaching, my assistant principal, a guy who was in charge of me, he was a former varsity football coach. And he would tell me that on game day, we're all coaches. We're all varsity. We're all this. It doesn't matter what practice squad you're on, what you're doing here, what you're doing there. We're all one. So I think of it like that. A lot of people try to hide what they're doing or get sneaky with it. I call them hacks. They're not really. I tell people, here's what you should do. It's nothing crazy. You just do it and stick to it.
Yeah,
And part of it is if we're all a team, which I would hope so, why wouldn't we want to help each other grow and get bigger and such?
yeah, yeah. I think this I thought deserves a much longer conversation because I really love the way you described it as this team thing, and I agree with you. Why wouldn't we help each other? But there is, I don't know, we can get into these mind frames of we're building something alone. I'm building this thing, and you've built it in community. It feels like your writing flows into other people's writing. You collab so effortlessly. Yeah, I think there's something really beautiful about it. And we'll, if we can talk more about it, we
Okay.
will. But we'll get into your book. So this is your debut memoir. Yeah, first time. Too soon, Pero, too late, French grace, American collapse, Colombian care. It begins with James gravely ill on a plane to Bogota, gripping his phone and trying to get this story down before his body gives out. And from there, the book moves through travel, marriage, illness, memory, longing, fatherhood, and the strangers who sometimes care for us better than the people closest to us. And it's funny, it's raw, it's uncomfortable, it's cinematic. When I was reading, I just was like, I feel like this is a movie. And
Really?
actually, yeah. And I have
Okay.
an interesting connection I made halfway through your book. And I won't bring it up now, we'll get to it in a bit. But so to start, before we get into the book, I just want to start with the moment it began with. You're physically sick on the plane, you're seeing triple, gripping your phone, and you're writing. What was happening for you that made this story feel so urgent? And if you don't know, by the way, James wrote this entire novel with his thumbs on his phone. So yeah, why did it have to be written right then? I
So I
could
forget.
feel because you'd forget.
I forget, and I didn't know what was gonna happen to me. Like, I've gotten really sick before. What I call it, I've had 6 experiences with the Reaper, and he can't take me, but I forget a lot. For me, it was kinda like, "Let me get it out before anything happens. I don't wanna forget anything," and I didn't know what was going on. I've been gravely ill before, but I didn't know what this was, and it was I thought, "This one could be different." And people who are listening, if you wanna hit that heart button a couple times, it'll get the algo will feed in more people if you're into that kinda thing.
Cool. Look at you. You know all this.
I heard it once.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, you wrote, I needed someone to get the story down. Who was that someone?
Me.
It was you. Yeah.
I have.
Yeah. And like you were literally afraid you might die if you didn't get it down then.
I wouldn't say afraid, I'd say wary, like, I'm like, "This could be it. I'm ready. If so, hey, it's been decent."
Yeah. So this kind of opens up another question, I think, for writers. Like, I have a bit of this obsession to document things through writing or even pictures, but it's a reflex. Like, I don't know, when I listen to you say that, I kind of feel like there's something in that. Like, there's this desire to get your life down. Is there someone else that you want to read it? Or, like, why is that important for you?
Great question. I never knew what was gonna happen with it. Full, complete, total transparency, because why not? I didn't start writing until July, June at all, since, like, college. Then I was writing it all out, and I was, like, started going back through life events, like, "Wait a minute. That thing was kinda weird, right? Oh, that was that? Everyone loves the T word trauma,
Hmm.
remembering things, remembering, wait, that wasn't this, that was that, it was what?" And I was like, as I was like going through these memories, remembering more and more things that were less than pleasant, I was like just trying to keep track of it all just because I didn't want to forget it all again and then be lost in the future, wondering, so what part is my fault? Play the blame game, usually it falls on me.
So it's like a sorting of memories and trying to locate almost like where is my part as the narrator, the protagonist, the person who is responsible for this story.
Yeah, I was actually working on 2 other books at the time I was doing this, and then this started as like a chapter on the plane, and then I just kept going. And then as things unfolded, it was like, I guess we're real time now. It wasn't quite what I expected, was not what I'd hoped for, but it's what happened.
It's a story that wanted to come out and it just pushed its way through the others you had going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's probably like 4 or 5 sessions I was done, and then I was just editing.
Wow.
But I'm an English teacher, so editing's easy. Not easy, but I can do it.
Yeah. Language is something you enjoy, you like. But that's so interesting to me that you didn't write growing up through your life. You didn't
In
use it as an
school,
outlet in school a little bit?
when we had to,
Yeah.
but I never chose to, no. That was a punishment.
And
You're
now
not
it
supposed to
seems
do at school.
something it seems like you live and
Yeah,
breathe it.
it
Yeah.
got kinda weird.
Yeah. I've heard you say before that you're not a writer, and I find that fascinating because the need to write, when I'm reading this book, it feels physical. And what does that phrase mean to you? I'm not a writer.
Maybe more of it, I'm not an author. I
Mm,
don't sit around and ponder the imponderables with the plaid and the whatever your image of an author with my the pipes. I don't think I do that. I have these ideas of what an author looks like, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not like that."
yeah,
Mhm. I read what some people write. Some people are like, "Oh, you're like" I read them, like, "I don't even know what this person's saying. What are they going on about?" I get so
yeah.
confused. I'm
Do
just a guy who writes.
do you think there's a trap to calling ourselves something, having an identity? I am this, I am that.
That's a great question. I suppose it could be. You build your identity and who you are into one thing too much and you lose it, it'll devastate you. That's
Mhm.
true. But I'm not, I have people criticize my writing all the time. I've seen all sorts of things sent to me about how terrible it is. And I just kind of look and I think, well, I think a few things. One of them is never claimed otherwise. Second one is, been doing this since July. How long have you been doing it?
Yeah.
That's kind of where I go with it. I'm nothing fancy. I never claimed to be.
I love that. I actually I remember you posted a note that was like, people either love my writing, you said something, they either love my writing or they think my head's been bashed in with a chair or something.
They're both certain it's true.
Yes. Yeah. What is that about? Why do people either love it so much or they think the
Can't
opposite?
imagine. I can't imagine.
Yeah.
I don't think I actually argued with some of my collaborators, and I'm like, "You're picking a topic that's too hard for me. I'm not a good writer for this. We got to stick to what I can do, not what I can't do, because I can't do much. Just look around." And they're like, "You can do it." I'm like, "I don't think I can. Quit pitying me." Like, I'm like, "I'm not that smart. Come on now, let's slow it down." But I'm being pushed to try things that are different. Fiction, ugh, as if I'm doing a lot more poetry now. Where'd that come from? I don't know. IDK. Yeah, I
You
don't know.
get it.
It's just I am.
Yeah, you are. Your prose has poetry in it. You have, but I think it comes so organically to you. And that's what's interesting. You're not trying, you just come from an inside the experience and you're just sharing what that feels, smells, looks like, and whatever comes to you. You don't seem to, tell me if I'm wrong, be restricted by any kind of rules. And that's what's so maybe pure about your writing is that you just seem to have a connection to your heart and your mind and you put it out there. Whereas maybe if you had gone through some sort of rigorous author training.
Plot chart. It's a conspiracy that we all need a happy ending in our rising and falling action. Let me tell you what, I told my students, not once have someone ever said to me, "Thank you for the resolution." That's never happened in my life.
Yeah.
It's never that easy. Yeah.
It's interesting because maybe I'll just bring this up now, but when I was reading this, it like I was saying it felt so cinematic and you didn't follow necessarily any conventional structure, but I do feel structure in here. Even just how at the beginning of some of the chapters, here I should follow my questions or else I'm gonna go totally off. But it felt like reading, it felt like a fever dream. You start off on the plane and then when you're in and out of illness and then these memories are coming back to you and we're going with you traveling to Uganda, to Colombia, we're in South Carolina, and we're filtering in and out of these memories and it tracks. It's so easy to read, it flows. And at the beginning of each chapter, you have a moment where you'll talk about often it's like being on the plane. And so I'll know you're ill and we're going into a memory. But you could, from the outside, be like, oh, this is the structure, but
Yeah.
it feels so organic.
I start with the grounding each chapter of where I am and then flow back. I originally had it written chronologically, and then I sold out to the frame story and was disappointed in myself with the flashbacks.
What's the frame story?
The being on the plane and everything happening, but then the flashing back constantly,
Oh,
that wasn't the original plan. I was to go beginning, middle, end, and I was like, "This sucks." I didn't like it. I feel like I was watching what Benjamin Button that had Katrina was the frame story. I was like, "It was good, but was it needed?" I don't know. Or Forrest Gump, they're on the bench. I'm on a plane. I felt like I kinda sold out.
it's so funny. It's so you to call it sold out, but it's just a structure. It's a structure we borrow. And, but I love that about you is you have a tether to your truthfulness. And if it doesn't feel truthful to you, it's like you got to figure out a way that's more truthful. And that I think serves a lot of writers or creatives to have that kind of pulse on their truth.
I think
Yeah.
that's why fiction can be hard because I don't really feel myself in it. I'm like, what do I care about this person or that person? I don't know them, you know?
I have the exact same resistance to fiction for that same reason. However, I've heard, and I feel like there's truth to this, is you can almost be more truthful in fiction because you're hiding behind a bit of a mask. These characters that you created, but
We
they're
can't say mask anymore.
that's right.
Yep.
If you don't know James,
There's the
he
hoodie.
you have to tell people because not every one of my subscribers will know about your mask. Tell how did okay, I'll
The
let you
ski
tell the
mask. I had
yeah.
a black ski mask I'd wear on lives and the black hoodie and stuff, and I don't why did it even start? I don't even remember. I used to just shoot at the ceiling and be like, "I wanna see him." Like, I can't show my face. I'm a teacher. I got stuff to hide. I got this, that, the other, and I there are things that could get me. So I had to make sure that some of the things I wrote were gone about what I did as a teacher at times when it would come to union pay and media contacts. And oh, I said it out loud. Whoops. But yeah, so I'd wear the mask and then the hood. The people wanted it. They wanted it so much. It became a gimmick and a character. And most people seemed to think it was hysterical. I guess some people were a little more put off by it. I don't know. But yeah, it's gone now.
And yeah, I like both. When I first met you, knew you with the wearing the mask, and I always felt like it's a protection. I think most writers maybe feel like they wish they had. There is that line of we share so much of ourselves through our writing, and how do we keep a certain level of protection or boundary between what we share and what is private? And if you have that mask physically, not just metaphorically, there's this level of protection. And I always saw it as that's what it was for you. I didn't know, and maybe it was that one in the beginning. I don't know.
It's like pro wrestling, right? You got Dwayne Johnson and The Rock. Are they the same person? They are, right? You take some of Dwayne's natural characteristics, and you amplify them when he gets on the mic. It's, "Oh, I'm calling out my opponent,"
Yeah.
or that's how it kinda like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I've been thinking a lot about that word authenticity lately. I've written a little bit about it, and it's that whole idea of, just feeling aligned when what we present to the world, when that matches who we are privately. For me, I feel more authentic or I feel more aligned. I don't have to be different things in different rooms. However, there's also we do have to present different selves in different rooms. And we do curate a self online versus, yeah, in our private life. Do you feel there are things that you can write that you can't say out loud?
Absolutely.
What does writing give you access to that ordinary speech doesn't?
I feel like if you say something, it's, like, more real, yet then have to follow it up later and be like, "Oh, yeah." There are consequences in writing too, but I feel like if you're writing, you just keep it to yourself also, and you can acknowledge it, like journaling, or if you're going through horrible memories and you're, like, not ready to talk about it, or you do talk about it, someone doesn't like it, but slows us down, yeah. I feel like there's some things, like, I've been asked to write more about teaching, and I'm like, I gotta be more careful with that now. Whereas before, I felt like I could be a lot more free. I can't say as much about certain administrators or school district reps or various people I know things about who I'm not actually trying to get anyone in trouble and I'm not trying to lose my job. I have to be a little more thoughtful on that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and you mentioned something, and we said that organically writing just coming to you. And I was thinking, even though I didn't write for until July, I basically have an inner narrator my whole life. And there's a reason why. I grew up with a really bad speech impediment. I was
Ooh,
stuttered, I muttered, James, that's how I
wow.
spoke naturally.
Yeah.
And I didn't know until the last 3, 4 months that I actually went to speech therapy for this. I was always told I didn't. But I went to all these therapists. I remember I was just even in high school, I was getting "Spit it out, Jonia," what people would say to me, like Adam Sandler. Fortunately, I never got stuttering Stanley like Sixth Sense, but one thing I
Oh, yeah.
developed on my own was just I'd basically rehearse it before I'd say it. What was I gonna say? I'd think it through. I'd think through possibilities, and it just helped me with anxiety and speech and such, and Even to this day, like I wrote a note yesterday, like who here actually wants people to read their stuff out loud in here? Because I hate sharing my voice. I hate reading what I write. I'm just not a I'm very unconfident in my speaking and speech abilities. I just go back to that place of people throwing things at me in classrooms. Like, oh, I don't want to go into what one of them said, but like it was just really nasty and unkind. And I'm like, I don't know. For me, I don't want to read myself because of it. But granted, that doesn't mean I shouldn't try to and grow. Put out the devil's advocate there.
Wow, thank you for sharing that. You know what? I relate. Like I grew up with a slight speech impediment as well. Like my dad used to say, "Enunciate your words, Ashley, enunciate them." And it was like I joked that I had a fat tongue. Like literally my tongue was too big for my mouth. I couldn't speak clearly, and I was very self-conscious about vocal expression. I grew up dancing and I could express myself through dancing, but to express myself through speech was really hard. And that's, I think it was in university I started getting obsessed with overcoming it. But you never overcome something, but I really wanted to face it, and I got into acting. And acting has been this 20-year journey of finding vocal expression. But very similar to you, I used to write out scripts, what I was gonna say to people just to find words, and like the person just said, writing slows us down. We can find our confidence in our words. It still is that for me, finding the confidence in the words. But spoken word is also this beautiful craft in itself. The ability to connect one-on-one with someone, like sitting here with you right now. It's pretty special.
I was on stage all the time. Even in my 30s, I was on stage once a week, like doing comedy and such. Like it's not that per se. It's just I don't know. It's just like I think I don't. I'll be completely. I don't like my writing. I really don't. And I read it, I'm like, did I just do that? I don't want to read that. I'd rather read someone good.
Who's your favorite writers? Do you have any off the top of your mind?
The ones who hit publish.
I like
I
them
can't, if
too.
I say one, the other ones will get mad.
That's true. Any famous ones or, like, big ones, they won't get mad.
I thought I wrote like Donald Miller. I don't know if anyone here knows Donald Miller, but he wrote Blue Like
Mm.
Jazz and a couple other memoirs. But as I wrote this, I realized I was probably writing more, I'm totally forgetting things now. House on Mango Street, it's forgetting her name right now, of course. I just taught this a month ago, 2 months ago, I'm forgetting her name. Sandra Cisneros is told through vignettes that don't necessarily have an easy ending or aren't necessarily connected. I realized partway through that this is kind of like how I write. It's more like
Mm.
I'll leave a lot of ambiguity because if I'm writing about my memories, I don't know what actually happened. I just know my perspective and I'm not going to guess.
Yeah. Yeah. You did something interesting in your book where about halfway through, you started talking about Schmidt. You didn't actually name it. What is hilarious about this is when I was reading the book, I kept thinking, "Oh, this feels like an Alexander Payne movie." I love Alexander Payne's writing, and I love the movie about Schmidt. And I came to that and I was like, oh, he's talking about Schmidt. And I already had feelings of it because you were talking about how important it was for you to give back to that charity vision, World Vision.
It's World Vision, but I gave it a different name.
Yeah, okay, yeah. And it
Like
just
Vision for
remi
the World or something. I don't know how
this
trademark law works. I didn't have an attorney back then.
oh, yeah. So yeah, I get it. You just placeholder. But it was that in itself was people would call that a literary tool. You used that movie as a designing principle in your novel and calling yourself Warren. What did that mean for you to name yourself? It was Jack Nicholson's character from About Schmidt.
I needed a name. And I wasn't gonna
Yeah.
go. It was like, I don't know. Warren came. I'm like, hey, let's go with that. People like talk. I know all these. I have been to some of these workshops and writing classes, and oh, here's how you're supposed to teach it. Oh, do all this planning, do all this, do all that, do all this pre-writing and this and that. I don't do that. I just go with it. Maybe it's all the years of improv and stand up. I just most of
Yeah.
it. Usually it works out, but not always. Sometimes it works very badly.
Yeah, but that's I think a good instinct with writing and story structure. It's what comes next. It's the domino effect. And there's a really good book on my shelf about playwriting, and it's about before and after, and it just talks about writing as a domino effect. Literally, the domino falls, what happens next, and it comes organically from that, and a structure may emerge. Yeah, but let's go back to the that moment where an Ecuadorian guide in the Amazon told you that you were a traveler and not a tourist, and that distinction becomes an anchor for you across some really difficult years. Can you take
Yeah.
us back to that moment? Do you remember it? And, like,
Oh, yeah,
when it
yeah.
why it landed so deeply for you?
I'm a tourist. I'm not a tourist. The tourist, I get you what, you got, like, a picture the dad with the crazy hat and, like, the fanny pack or the whatever, like, I think that's what a tourist would look like, or, like, a tour bus. Make sure you hit all the tourist sites and the checks. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, that exactly. You'd have all the check marks of what you need to see somewhere. I'm thinking, what was that movie? Vacation, Vegas Vacation, where they drive out to the Hoover Dam, look at it and nod and walk away.
Mm.
You're missing things, like, in your backyard that you don't know about. I've actually done tourism. I travel, like, my backyard. I'm like, "Hey, what do I not know around this area that I should know about?" It's just I always look for the underground, not literally underground always, but the sneakier spots people might not know about. I remember I was when I was younger, people would always look to the seedy areas of town because that's where things were happening. I can confirm that there's often even to this day, like, there's a lot of, like, areas that used to be pretty rough and now have, like, tons of breweries and tons of culture. You go to Oakland, you'd go to Richmond, or you'd go
Mm.
to Charlotte. No, that was never really, but I was thinking the few places that got, like, hipstery and hip and cool when no one was looking. Yeah.
As you're talking, it's reminding me just, like, rejecting tourist or embracing that traveler is what we were talking about, rejecting the title of writer. It's like writer puts you into this box of what you might produce and what but it's if you just leave it open and approach it like a traveler, who knows what you might write, who knows what you might come across. There's something in your it sounds like your personal life and your work that is really okay with not gripping definitions and labels. It embraces that traveler.
Everything's so ambiguous, and I don't take all that too seriously. I know some people, like, even a writing prompt, like, "We didn't address all this part," and but I got the part I needed. Or I think I don't even always like the word teacher. I am a teacher, but am I really a teacher, or am I a learner, or am I a coach, or am I a mental health professional, a mental health patient? Like, all the above every day in a classroom. So I don't know, I feel like some of these labels can be kinda silly and restricting also.
Yeah, absolutely. If you really identify, I'm a teacher, would you limit yourself in how you show up on Substack? Like, it is
Partly
funny.
why I use partly why I use name.
Yeah, yeah. So, one of the main things that moved me in the book is how deeply you notice the people who show up for you, the guides, the doctors, hotel staff, Iselane, Thomas, strangers. And I notice you're like this on Substack as well. You go to bat for people who support you and you support them back, like, big time. Where does that instinct come from in you to notice care so closely?
The best answer for that I have is not a happy one, and it's just when you don't get it very often and you see it, you don't forget it.
Yeah, another question I was thinking was, do you think people who have felt unseen become especially alert to being cared for?
They probably get suspicious about it, maybe a little on edge. I know I
Mm,
do. "Wait, why are you responding this way? Why are you doing that? I didn't do anything." I don't know, I've seen this script before, I know how this goes. I've seen the plot. I know what's coming. I'm not like that. I'm like, "Okay, you're probably right, but it's still there."
yeah. Did you have to work through that in
Oh,
order to yeah,
after this book, I was getting the EMDR therapy twice a week for 6 months. It was exhausting.
that
After a while, I was like, I told him, "I'm not done, but I need a break." I'm like, I was getting anxious about going to therapy. I'm like, "What is it now?"
yeah. And if people don't know EMDR, I've had it as well, and I believe my experience of it was you recall the stressful memory, and then they, depending on your therapist, you do this eye movement during
Mm,
it, and I think it's supposed to interrupt your brain pattern wiring. Do you have a different
And to
explanation?
desensitize you to it, basically. Take it from like a level 8 to level 2 or something. I wrote about the earthquake. I mentioned Oakland, and I was there in '89 for the big earthquake. I wrote about that recently. I called it the Big Bad Wolf or something. And I ended up having we revisited that after I was in a hit and run when I was in middle school. I was like 13. I was the hit, not the run. I had to go to
Yeah.
therapy for that one and in court and some stuff. So I was like, I kind of learned about it then, but it wasn't trendy then. It was like, oh, it's this hypnosis thing. But now everyone's, oh, EMDR has become cool.
Yeah, yeah. It's helpful. It works. All therapy is slow moving. You don't necessarily feel its effects immediately, but when I look at you and what you're sharing and writing, I don't think you could be totally dysregulated and be sharing on this level and writing on this level, or you might be able to, but it'd be really challenging 'cause I
Oh,
don't know, but you
there's one time I wrote one thing and I didn't eat for 2 days after. It really was. It's not up right now. I might not put it up again, but it was going back to a certain place, going back to a certain time. I was sick to my stomach. Like the shadow writing is the other side of you or whatever that you. The whole idea of shadowing is kind of silly. You write about whatever it is that really bothers you, whatever it is you hate, the darkness inside, and confront it directly. And you're supposed to ease yourself into it. Yeah, I didn't do that. Yeah,
yeah.
I in the deep end and didn't come back up.
Yeah, it can be really dangerous for
Yeah.
someone.
Yeah, I know that now. And now people I get like, "Oh, you inspired me." I was like, "Oh, no, don't be inspired by me. Don't do that. People do that, then they disappear from Substack or take a 4-week hiatus. Don't do that. No, don't be inspired, please. This is me just working things out."
That's such a good point because and I think myself as well, I'm like trying to find sustainability, like longevity on this platform. And if I'm triggered, if my I write not necessarily I write some vulnerable things, but it can trigger me and not make me want to return. So I do think whatever measures we can take to help ourselves. Do you have any kind of practices after you've written something really triggering that help you gain?
I would schedule therapy sessions those days. That was a big one.
Yeah.
Um Or even just the way someone interprets something you do and make it something bigger than it was, and maybe before long, your whole world's falling, and it's like everyone suddenly thinks you're something you're not, and is so certain of it when you can't even say or do anything about it. That's the same kind of triggering where it's like you're not even able to eat. Is this my life? And I'm in a point where if I hear something enough, I might believe it. Not as much as I used to. I might need a few days, but I'll come back to it. I'm like, okay, I'm good now. I feel like much of my life I was told I was certain things that I wasn't. And that's kind of what led to this whole realization in July. Wait a minute. That thing was this, or this thing was that. And that's why I want to get it down on my phone before it's too late because I have the realization and the clarity right now. And I don't want to forget it all and blame myself or hate myself later, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's like words have power to them. And I feel this so strongly as well. Maybe that's why we're driven to memoir writing in particular, because I'm so driven towards memoir writing. And it's the ability to organize, to make sense, to put it down. Words are magic. We can reconstruct in some ways our own memory of things. Yeah.
Yeah. Memories aren't, I remember it's from, was it my undergraduate degree was psychology. And I remember from, was it bios, a burn, what do they call it? Reflection of a star? Like, I feel like
Yeah.
memories are kind of like that too.
Yeah. I totally agree. And in hypnotherapy, I did my training a couple years ago. And a lot of that work is like the way I was trained is you'd go into age regression, like a past memory. And a lot of that was helping people go back to a memory and reconstruct it with a new frame, a new way of seeing it where they have more empowerment, just starting to throw a wrench in the way the brain is interpreting this memory, and it's
Classic example,
effective.
like, forgive your 4-year-old self or tell your 4-year-old self it's okay kind of thing. I'm like, "Oh, not that again."
Yeah, and sometimes you gotta revisit it. You gotta keep revisiting it.
4-year-old, you should have known better, dummy, is what I wanna say. Referring
You
to me,
gotta
not any other 4-year-olds.
you gotta hug that little 4-year-old. So yeah, going back to the book, I have all these questions and they're keeping me on track.
Oh,
So I'm gonna
okay.
keep coming
How
to
many you
them.
have?
This is 7. I have about 10, I think. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. Your title puts 3 ideas in conversation with each other: French grace, American collapse, Colombian care. In the book, America doesn't just feel like a place, it feels like an emotional atmosphere. And I don't know if I'm correct, but I felt like the characterization through your wife, your ex wife, through her phone and
soon to be.
disconnection.
Oh,
Okay.
it's not
Still,
until August. It's complicated.
oh, someone's just saying memories are constantly changing to your perception of things. Yeah.
That's true.
So, yeah, just going back to that with America, feels like it's an emotional atmosphere, people struggling to really meet each other. And there's a line where you describe your wife's phone as her heartbeat. And that stayed with me. And I was wondering, what does American collapse mean to you in this book? Is it personal or is it political? What did that mean for you?
I meant it me collapsing, but now that you say that, I'm like, "Whoa."
My mind was going like, it was just interesting because you're this American who's traveling to Colombia, Uganda. You're going all over and you're thinking of yourself as this traveler, not this tourist. And your relationship is disintegrating in the book. And I just felt like it was this American finding himself in other cultures. And it wasn't so much that like America is a symbol. It feels like, I'm sorry, I'm telling you what your book's about, but
You might know more than I do. I was pretty
it,
out of it when I wrote it.
it felt like it was a symbol for disconnection because that's what was happening between your primary relationship. It was just this inability to connect and you were seeking it. And that just really jumped out at me, whether you consciously planned it or you wrote unconsciously and those themes came through, they resonated to me. Yeah.
I could see that, yeah. At the time, I was thinking I was an American who collapsed, but yeah, I could see that.
Do you think part of your collapse or collapse in general is the inability to connect and be present with each other?
Probably plays a big part. I'm not always good with people at all, especially these days. Dads have a hard time with each other, and then it's just you got work, you got done. I got a tutor, I got to do this, I got to get there, I got to pick up the kid. It's just so much all the time, and it doesn't stop. So the weekend
Mhm.
comes around. What am I? I got so much to do, and now I'm going to collapse and crash on the weekends, and then mow the lawn if I can. I feel like this whole idea, like you, at least I'm not gonna hide behind humor. For me, at least, I think I convinced myself that I had done everything right and that everything was going according to plan, that I was behind on my 5, 10 year plan by so much because I think my 20s were my lost years for a number of reasons. And I just, oh, this is what's supposed to happen. Oh, this is normal. Of course, this is what happens. And then it's like you stop. You're like, wait a minute. How did I end up here? How is this normal? Is this normal? It's like Truman Show. He's looking around. You accept your present as your reality, but
Mhm.
does that make it normal? And I really partway through, I'm like, I think much of my life, I was really like, I don't think this is normal, but I don't have much to compare it to or anyone I can trust to say, hey, is this what your life is like? Is this what it's supposed to be? I didn't have a textbook for what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, none of us do. And I think a lot of people, myself included, my friends that I talk to right now feel the exact same way. It's like, why do we feel so behind? And we're working so hard. There's something our society is not set up in a way that feels natural. And so a lot of people I think are trying to change it. Okay, I'm going to not go on social media. I'm going to slow life down. I'm going to try to do these things in my personal life to help myself. But it's really hard because the technology we interact with, like even Substack alone, it's supposed to be this new technology that's not like other social media. Yet there's leaderboards, there's algorithms, there's points, it feels extremely hustle. There are some beauties to it that absolutely other social media platforms don't, or there's healthy things to it. But I also feel like it's a reflection of our culture. which is work hard, work fast. And yeah, we're trying to put the brakes on, but we're
No, definitely. Yeah, I think it's an absolute mirror of what life is. We could stop and smell the roses, but there's still the hustle behind it. And if you want to do this, that, and the other grow, you got to put in the work. And if you don't put in the work, like, unless you're some like extreme example of brilliance or get the right thing at the right time, it's going to be a struggle.
yeah, yeah. That's a reality for 99%. Yeah. Yeah, I think we're feeling that at a boiling point. All right, another book question. You're very transparent in the book about reaching towards Iselane, who are more than what was strictly professional, and you express feeling embarrassed by that. You also name other places that you went to feel like yourself, like teaching, Reddit, AI, strangers, travel, writing. And but I think a lot of people are reaching towards these things as well, social media, AI, strangers, for connection right now. What do you think that says about the culture we're living in? This is what we were just talking about in a way.
Yeah. What is normal? What is it we're supposed to do? I feel like there's ideal. I would go to my parents' generation, like 70s, 80s. Things were hard, but also not. I feel like I hear prices of houses back then and income and interest rates, even with all that, they were still very affordable in a lot of places. And then I hear about not entirely, not always. I mean, someone's like, actually, I was in the 80s and look, not always, but I feel like it was simpler then. And now it's like I'm working I've been teaching 15 years. I've done summer school every year but 2016. I've done my COVID hours for the special education for students who didn't get their services. I've done other tutoring. I'm still barely getting by. I don't want to talk about what I had to do. I would drive a 2009 mid-sized small sedan, and I don't want to talk about how much I had to pay for that. And I'm like, and there it goes. It's like I feel like there's always something. We're going up. It'd be too simple to say we're going uphill. I feel like we're barefoot in the snow, backwards, going uphill.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a little too silly, but you know what I'm saying.
No, I know exactly what you're saying. And in the book, this magnetism towards Isaline, it
That's not even a real name. I made one up.
yeah, I heard you say that
I was
on
like,
Lee's.
what's a French name that sounds good?
It works, it's good. But there
Zaline.
Isaline, there we go. Thank you.
Yeah, that's how I said it.
Isaline, it feels almost like oxygen as well, like the need for connection.
Yes, someone who's for real and who doesn't have an agenda.
Yeah, yeah. And this is going on a little bit, but there's this moment at dinner, the scene I with Isaline and your wife and Thomas, and this really stayed with me. She shares something painful about her mother, Isaline, and reading, I could feel you sitting there willing your wife to connect with her. You wanted this connection to happen, and it didn't just feel like you were hoping everyone would get along. I know that feeling of like you want good chemistry in a dinner setting like that, but it was deeper than that. You wanted your wife to recognize what the world had held for you, or maybe recognize herself in it. And there's just the desperation for this connection to happen. What were you hoping would happen in that moment at the table?
She says her parents were elderly, older, and her dad was dead, and her mother was having some severe cancer. And I'm like, I know someone just like that. Looking across the table, and it's here's your chance. Please be the one. Like all I ever heard about for so long was how miserable everything is because of those three things, basically. And it's here's your moment. This is someone who's going to get it, who's going to speak your language. This is someone who's you could talk to about this all day long, all week long, all year long. And instead was, oh, I'm like, I felt like I was like nudging. Oh, come on. This is
Mhm.
all you wanted for forever. Why are you pulling back now? And also, I was still trying to be, I didn't want, I liked this, but I didn't want to like her. I wanted this to be it. And it was like, God made me the hero. And then as a hero, but I did then fix it. And then I made me, her. Oh my God. I was trying to make you the one who fixed it. Fix it's the wrong word, but
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like I was trying to outsource it,
Outsource
which
it.
I feel like,
How?
like when someone gets upset like that and the other person's not doing their job, I feel like it was my wife's job at that point to handle it. Like, all I can say is there. And I can do the positive affirmation of who you are and what I see and what I believe. But the person who can actually really understand it and speak to it wasn't willing. I had a student today tell me about what was going on in his life. I can't relate to what was going on with his parents and his family and his home life and his or lack thereof as he has to move all the time because of being evicted. But I can say, you know what? What's happening to you isn't fair. It isn't right. And I'm not okay with it. This shouldn't be happening to you. You've done nothing wrong to deserve it or to receive it. And that's all I can really say. But if I were with another teacher who I know had encountered the same thing, I'd be like nudging him, come on, come on. They need to hear it from someone who's been there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I felt that pulsating through this whole book is the through line of how much connection is how important it is for you, but it's the same for me. It's like breathing. It's like life and death, the ability to connect with people, but it seems to be a choice for some people. Some people will just choose not to connect. But
Or the power move to withhold,
yeah,
which is what I was thinking it was. Like I could, but I won't.
and what is
You know,
that?
there's
Do you
some
think? What is that about in that moment for her?
is it getting revenge on me or getting mad at me, or I couldn't tell you. She later said that it was vacation. She didn't want to think like that. I'm thinking, since when does that stop you? Yeah, I'm
Did
not
you
trying to be
ever
nasty, but what's that?
did you have a realization in that moment? What did it reveal something to you that you didn't have information about prior? It felt like such a poignant scene. The whole scene is very poignant. I'd love to see that in a film. Like,
Yeah. Bye, Melanie.
bye,
Yeah,
Melanie.
for me, I wasn't shocked. I feel like some people will find reasons to be upset and find reasons to be need comforting all the time, but never get comforted, never actually want to be reassured. They just want the attention. And when you actually have someone else who might need it, they don't want to give it. I think my wife would fall in that category. For me, I think I found this quote from some article or piece the other day, and it was like, and I reached that guy's like, why would I talk about my feelings when I already know my feelings? It was a guy saying this. I'm not going to make someone else as miserable as I am if I can't help it. If I really need something, I'll say it.
Mm.
But otherwise, I usually keep things to myself because no need to make it weird.
And that's, I think, a feeling a lot of people have. What's the point? And I know what my answer is. What would your answer be? Like, what is the point? Why do we share our writing on the internet? Why do we write a book like this? Why do we
I got nothing else to do. I got nowhere else to go, and it's going to stay inside, and it's going to keep eating away at me, and I'm going to have to keep gaslighting myself that everything's fine. And I've done that for 40 years, and I'm done. 39 years.
scared or don't want to be vulnerable? Yeah.
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 I heard a quote, Brene Brown. She's become so famous, she's almost cliche. So I almost don't like quoting her, but I was listening to something she said, and she was like, you don't have to be vulnerable in life. It's not a prerequisite, but if you want to live a brave life, you have to be vulnerable. There's no courage without vulnerability. I don't know, that really hit me, impacted me because I wanna live a brave life. And it just made me realize, okay, oh, that's why I'm vulnerable. That's why I do it, because I wanna live that way.
Then other times it's like I feel like, didn't we do this already? Can't I just have a breather now? Let me come back to it later. The whole vulnerability, I'm reminded of a C.S. Lewis quote, actually. He says, the only place to be safe from all the dangers of love is hell. Which you take that to mean the vulnerability, brave life. Like he's
Mm,
going to the extreme of if you don't want to have to vulnerable be love, whatever you want to call it, the only place to be safe from all those risks and dangers of being something else is, a
mm.
place without anything.
That tracks for me. That makes sense for me. I think the opposite of vulnerability, the opposite of connection is isolation, disconnection. For me, yeah, I don't know about you, but there's no longer a choice. That's just the way I want to live my life. Otherwise, it's, yeah, darkness and a smaller life.
Darky's an old friend of mine. We get along well. I hear what you're saying. I feel like I fluctuate at times between the two. Sometimes I'm just like, I can't. Like last week, I didn't go to work for 3 days after I wrote about my dog died. It's terrible. Still is, and my other dog's with me right now because she can't be alone. But it's like I was not in the best of minds. I was like just beyond stressed out about it all. And that's an area where I know very well, like being isolated, not wanting to be around it. But I'm like, I will come out when I'm ready, when I'm presentable, and I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to do much with it necessarily. I just want to let myself have my time.
Yeah, that's
Like
such
a
a
book
good
Substack
point.
where I can write whatever
Yeah,
I want.
yeah. No, it's true. Like we go through periods of time where we do need to protect our heart, like close in. You're just making me think of yoga because I've recently become a yoga teacher,
Right.
and I think about the different poses. We have heart openers, back bends, and like dancers pose. The heart is exposed and it's open. It's very vulnerable. You can feel the vulnerability as you open your chest, your collarbone. And then we have poses like pigeon, and you're like huddled over your heart. You're protective of the heart. And both are necessary and beautiful depending on what we're moving through in life. I think just more, it's more on, I want to be working towards that open heartedness, but there's just many times we need to be in protective.
Protecting. Some people can harm and hurt without even meaning to if you're too open. And it's like, you say that one thing or go too far, and you're like, wait a minute, I just revealed something very deeply about myself. And if it's not reciprocated the right way, which really started my wife, is like I told her a lot of these things I was writing about, and she found it unacceptable and unpleasant. Didn't want to hear about it. Went to bed. It's like, it's not the right way to handle it.
There was that moment when she walked to the bathroom and you confided in Elaine and Thomas about your something very painful. And what was that like for you? Did you feel held by these two people or did it feel rushed? I was curious.
I felt like Isolene was what it called going 50, is what term I've heard. It means when you're not doing surface level, you're going deep. And I felt like others were keeping it at 6 to 10. I'm like, that's not fair. Someone goes 50,
Um,
you go 50 back. And if you're not, like, it's not balanced. And some might say, haven't I gone 50 with you, 100 with you sometimes? And it's true that sometimes I don't always match, but usually it's because I'm exhausted or because I'm like, I just need a break. Yeah, whatever else is going on. But in that moment, I felt like I needed to say something after all that she had revealed, and for my wife just yeah, it happened. I don't know. I just felt like there had to be something.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, I see it
Kind of a
now. It
red
was
and
like,
black debit and credit, like it's got to be rebalanced.
yeah, it was like she gave a gift in a way, and you gave, you're like, I give a gift back.
Reciprocate. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Near the end of the book, there's this very intense moment where with your mom, when you tell her something she didn't know, something you've been carrying over 20 years, and reading it, I felt the weight of what it means to carry something silently that long, and it felt like it mattered that she understood or at least heard what you were carrying. And I'm curious, when did you first realize how much that silence shaped you? What was it like to have this conversation with your mom? It was really well written. I could feel her discomfort and I could feel you're just opening, not letting it just be brushed away.
This is the final boss scene, I think. It was, what do you say when, the person supposed to support you comes at you and tells you how much you sucked? And you're like, wait a minute. It sounds like you don't know a whole lot. You're hearing one side of a story very clearly, but they're leaving things out. And maybe some of what they're saying is accurate, but you're missing the rest of it. And, she was telling me what all she was going to do to me. I'm like, you know what? If you want to keep this attitude up, I'm just going, I can go anywhere I want to and disappear off the grid. I'm like by Bogota airport right now because flights everywhere through Copa Airlines. I'll never return. Okay, I was going to return, but I was pissed. I was furious, really. I felt completely fully judged without ever having a chance to speak. It's like I didn't even have a chance to speak. I was in bed, sick, near deathish, and like all the while there's a plot happening to take me down. Sounds familiar to other things that have happened. And it's like I couldn't do anything to respond or reciprocate. I felt betrayed. I felt like it's, what do they call it when you're in war and they come from the back? I got flanked.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
by this someone who's supposed to be watching my back, then turns around and is ready to stab me instead. And I'm like, go ahead and do it, but let me tell you what you're missing.
Yeah.
Then stab me in the chest.
Yeah, it was a real climax. It felt like the climax when it had to hit that head. Do Has your mom read your memoir?
No, no one knows I'm published.
Oh.
No one in the real world knows I'm published or that I'm on Substack. They might know Substack, and that's it.
What would it feel like if your closer family and friends read you? What would
I
you
would let 'em. I would never let them. Um, would never let them. I don't even know what they do with it. I think they would just kind of walk away like, well, people say I'm trying to be better at being like easier to read, but I'm not easy to read. But I don't make it easy. You want an easier read, I can give you 500 people who follow a plot diagram.
But you make sense. Like I'd say when I'm reading, you make sense. When yeah, like, I think you were very, like, I read this in 2 sittings and I could have read it in 1 sitting, but I had to do something. And that's to me, I think you're easier to read than you realize. Like, I mean
Like
that as a
in terms of
compliment.
like, I have to put. Oh, thank you. I feel like I have to put all the trigger warnings everywhere, even
Yeah.
when I'm trying to behave and be nice. I'm like, oh, this book. I'm like, I'm gonna make this one PG or PG-13 because the next one's rough, and I think it still came out. I'm like, what? I tried to make this one like kids friendly. I think I made it worse. Plot diagram. You got your exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, and conclusion or resolution.
One of my favorite writers who his theory about writing is Chuck Palahniuk. He wrote Fight Club, and the one piece
Yes,
of writing
Substack too.
yeah, that's right, he does. I subscribe to it. He said, "You just have to bring your character through hell and then back on the other side." I was like, "Okay, yeah, I can remember that."
I get to see not someone get out of hell. Usually they're still there. It's just presented better.
Yeah. I know we're going over. Are you okay for another 5 minutes?
I'm okay for I didn't know we had a time.
I always
But I used to be a little
roughly
I
think
didn't
an
know.
hour, but
You're here for however long. I don't know.
if that was the case, we'd be here all day. I could ask you so many questions about this book and Substack, and yeah. Here's one. Okay, there's the 7-minute phone call as you get as close as ever in the book to asking for what you want, and the door doesn't quite open. You sit with your phone afterwards and you write that you forgot how to speak. And what happened in your body in that silence? And was this where too soon and too late became the title?
It's like in this case is just the example, but it's like it was too late for her, but it was too soon how many times before? And not so it's about romance, because in general, my life was always too late and I was always too soon. I often said I should have been born 200 years ago or 3,000 years in the future, either back before all this crazy nonsense happened or sometime when we're no longer speaking and we're like just QRing each other or something. I don't know. That's communication. Like, I
Yeah,
feel like it's just, for someone like me, I feel like it's very difficult. And I feel like I've always been too late. I've always been too soon. I'm never right on time. When my Goldilocks, I never had the just right.
maybe your Substack era will prove you wrong. Maybe.
And fingers crossed.
I think it already is. All right, I have another question. Your 6-word memoir exercise that you give to your students, yours has changed over time, and the one that you can't share with your class is the truest one, you say in the ending. What does it mean that the most honest version of your story is the one you have to keep quiet?
Is that? Can I tell anybody half the stuff?
Yeah, probably.
I could, but how would that be taken? What would happen as a result? Oh, bye bye, Lynn.
I
There are crazy consequences to everything. And a lot of people, like you said, we all put on masks in the beginning. I feel like I wear a lot of masks all the time. A lot of people are like, oh, you're the most easygoing guy ever. Oh, you're so chill. You're so that. I'm like, I'm none of the above. Well, I'll play the part if I have to. I'll play along. I'll review the script ahead of time, and I'll play my part and I'll get an Oscar for it. But I feel like there's a lot of things I can't share. The real me, which I'm still trying to figure out, like, where is it me and where is it shadows of something else, fingertips of something else? I don't think I can. I tried it with my wife. I tried it with my mom. Guess what? It wasn't accepted. It was unpleasant.
Yeah.
Little did I know how much pleasantries were important.
Yeah. Yeah. You just hit it on the head. I think we all want to present the most integral or what dignified version of the self that we feel is the truest to everyone we come in contact with, but it's like we do wear different masks and roles with people.
I don't always do that. Sometimes I show up and I do exactly what I'm not supposed to do because I don't, people are like, oh, why are you here? I'm like, I don't want to be here, but I have to be.
Mm,
Thank you for asking. I feel like I can't lie. And sometimes I'm like, I'm not. I got plenty of issues. I'm sure you could ask around. A lot of people don't like me, but lying's not one of them. I tell the truth. If I know it, I tell it. If so, actually you forgot this, then oh my god, I forgot. I'm so sorry. I'll try to fix it. But lying is not one of my issues usually.
yeah, I think that's what makes your writing great. We have a few questions about we can go into a little bit more writerly craft stuff. This one was about voice, but I think we covered it. Maybe more about Substack strategy if you're open to it. I know
Sure.
you might resist that you have a strategy, but you might have tips and things that our audience would appreciate because you've grown your audience more than once and you grew it substantially all several times. You grew it into the thousands, whereas people will be writing on Substack for years and not amass the amount of subscribers.
Yeah.
Mm. But first, what has starting over taught you about audience building?
I'm like, oh, I guess I'm doing it again. I don't even think like that.
Yeah.
Who still wants to play? Who still likes me? Who still believes in me and doesn't that's kind of where I think of it, but I've definitely forgotten things along the way. As for how to grow, the big thing that a lot of people never do, they won't self-promote. It's beneath them. Oh, I would never share unless I was asked. I'm not
Hmm.
saying DM it to people, but how are they supposed to know it's out there if you don't tell them? I know I won't see it.
Yeah.
Do you think I sit around looking at my emails? Who looks at their emails all the time? Come on, get out of
Yeah.
here.
That's such an
Like,
important point. You have to just promote it. I always say promote your work like a sociopath because we're all empaths. So it's like you just have to shut your eyes and promote and act like it doesn't affect you because no one's going to know what you're doing.
do it like an empath. If you don't do it and someone needs it, you're a sociopath.
There you go. I like that. Yeah, that's great. Do it like an empath.
So a lot of people never write notes, or if they do them all at once, they don't spread them out. A lot of people refuse to restack or refuse the tag, which is fine, but these are ways to get cross promotional, get more audiences involved. They'll never change their style. I'm just writing about this, but they won't even once try one thing different to see if I don't write about history. Guess what? Some history people might actually like what you write, but they'll never know you exist if you don't.
Yeah. Yeah, you just listed 2 things that I would like to implement. One is restacking a little more. I got advice early on that was like, "Don't restack because unless you really align with the work, because it will confuse your algorithm." And yeah.
I've never heard that, but maybe could be true.
Yeah, what you're doing seems to really work. You do tag a lot of people, you restack a lot of people, you champion a lot of people's work. Yeah.
The big thing though is if you write a lot, like I know some people refuse to promote, and it's like I'm not like, why didn't you read? I'm like, did I know it was there? A lot of people will make sure I see it. Did you make sure I see it, or did you use the thoughts and prayer strategy, hoping I'd see it?
Yeah, it's
Uh,
a really good point.
I'm not going to say it's all about me, but if I want someone's attention, I'm going to make sure it gets to them. I'm not, or the greatest chance of getting to them. I'm not going to just hope and pray it gets to them. If there's someone I really want to see it, I'm going to make sure they know.
I'm gonna take that away. Because I even noticed you'll post a note, you'll make a post, you'll post a note, then you'll post it in your chat too. I always see those. I'm like, that's brilliant.
I also put the notes in the. I sometimes I'll take the notes in the posts. I'm like, I'm gonna make this one go viral. I've never had a note actually get much. Some people get 80,000 likes on a note or some nonsense and get restacked 30,000 times. I think my most has been like 250. I don't,
Yeah.
notes never work. I'll even do the whole like, hey, if you really care about yourself, you'll take care of yourself today and share your work. I've done those pep talky ones. And I just usually, someone I know is gonna be like, yeah, that's not working for you.
But your posts get, incredible viewership on it. It's remarkable. Hundreds, more than that.
It's a lot of it's just promoting like a sociopath.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have said, "Oh, he's like a sociopath the way he promotes." I'm like, "Thank you."
I
Welcome
wrote
to his no.
I wrote a note, "Promote your work like a sociopath." That note went viral. I got several hundred people. That was, like, a year or so ago, and now it's become this little thing. That was one.
I remember that one.
Yeah. What's one thing that newer Substack writers misunderstand about building an audience?
A few things that I've done differently would be to restack yourself with a new note and make sure you use the SEOs. You label it, you use the chats, that you actually read other people's work. Some people like want to skip that part. And it's like, yes, you can, but it's probably not going to work out well. People want to be read. And some people want to be read but don't want to read. And that's a separate issue. But if you want to be read and don't read, you're probably not going to get a lot of people unless you have some masterful skill.
Yeah, that's been
Just
a big
have
one for
fun
me
with
as
it.
well.
One thing for me, I think, is just like, have fun with it. There are a lot of fun, silly little games you can play on there that like you can't do in the real world. Like, what was it? How would you? What kind of ghost would you be? And what would you do and tag 5 people? The haikus have gotten a little old, yeah, but there are other things that are funny.
Yeah, I've done a couple haikus. I think I did a poem that you sent, but I haven't done a lot of that. I need to have more fun with it.
It's like I feel like that's when people like. Yeah, if I'm business all the time, which I feel like at times I am, people are like, "Oh, is that you?" But I don't think, despite how I might sound to some people, I'm actually a fun guy sometimes. But you would never know it because I'll play it off a certain kind of way. I'll be like, "Nah, I'll be bored," but I'm not really. I'm looking as I do it. Again, I was on stage for I don't remember how many years doing comedy. Like a lot of this is deeply ingrained in how to work a crowd. A lot of it's how to get the audience involved.
You should write a
And
post about that. Your stand-up comedy, being on stage, and that would be really
I
interesting.
could do that. Yeah. The first
Mm.
time, what was I can't repeat it, but it wasn't me who said it until it was later. But
Yeah.
I mean, I could do that. I've got a couple of collaborations. For me personally, my executive functioning has been really bad lately. The last several weeks, month have been extremely stressful for a number of reasons. And I'm having a hard time like finishing tasks and starting by finally doing collabs makes it easier, get help along the way. So I've been focusing on that a little more. But then I dropped in the piece about my dog, Perry, that
Well, that one
it,
did.
it had
That
it
people
had 200
really
likes in a
resonated.
day. I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know how.
Yeah, dogs are little they're our angels. I get it. Mine's 12. Is it?
Yeah.
So
And that was about Perry. This is Zoe right here. She's not sure what to do with that.
mine's out at the moment. But yeah, Zoe, poor Zoe. Yeah, it's hard. The adjustment will take a while. I'm really sorry to hear that pain like no other.
My daughter still will ask, "Where's Perry?" And the vet told me to say and be real and honest, which maybe I was a little too real and honest. I said he got really old and sick and is dead, and he's not coming back. And now she keeps saying he's dead. He's dead. When's he coming back? I'm like, oh my god,
Oh.
this is not what I meant. And I'm like, he's. Then I started saying he's with Jesus. Now he's dead with Jesus. When is he coming back? I'm like, I don't know how to do like where is there a parenting handbook on how to do this stuff? Did I mess up badly? Is she gonna be scarred for life? This is my mind started starting like I need to stop talking and never speak again. Like I don't know how to do this.
She will become who she becomes. Who knows? Maybe she'll be a writer and she'll write that line one day.
I'll be the villain of all villains. Like she'll have a chapter about me.
That's naturally going
But
to happen.
it's
All
just when
children. Yeah.
yeah, it's true.
I do have a closing question. And Lee asked you this question, but he asked it in a different way. So I'm going to ask it in a different way. After writing this book, what do you understand about yourself now that you didn't understand before?
I have the lamest quote here. It's from Silly Miss Lily on YouTube. She's a kid's like calling Miss Rachel. She says, "We can do hard things." That's her
Mm,
tagline. And it's I could do a hard thing. How many people get published? How many people will take the time to learn how to do this? I didn't know what I was doing. I had to figure out, wait, what's this? What's Amazon KDC? What's InstaSpark, Ingram Spark, and how do I had to learn all this whole new vocabs for all these words, and all these words didn't make sense. I'm like, wait, the this, the that, the what? I got to put what where? I got to resize this how? It was a lot of nonsense. The writing itself was easy. The hard part was the publishing. So I'm avoiding these other 2 right now. I'm like, I have 2
Mm.
more ready to go. I just gotta put them together and do all the buttons, and I don't want to. I really don't want to, but I probably will at some point, maybe after school's out.
Yeah,
But I guess I can do hard things. I can see something through, and I've struggled with my self-esteem all my life, 100%. Yeah, we're still going. I don't think highly of myself most of the time, but I was like, "You know what? If I can do this," and I haven't read the book actually. I edited it, that's it, but I'm like, I can do a lot more.
absolutely you can. You know what? I think you should send Alexander Payne a copy of this and say, let's make About Schmidt again, but a younger person's version for a modern audience.
You did movies and
Honest.
stuff. You got his contact info?
I could look up on IMDb. IMDb we
That's
could send it
okay.
to his agent. But yeah, I could see this as a movie.
I tried being aggressive on Instagram with people, nothing happened.
Yeah, being on aggressive on Instagram will never get you anywhere.
I mean, like tagging and, "Oh,
Oh,
finally,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
making it clever," all
Yeah,
that.
it is tough, but yeah, if you have a inclining, if there's something in you that's, "Oh, maybe that's something," it's worth doing what you can to get it into someone's hands.
I
Yeah.
don't know how. I tried to find a couple of artists who I knew were, like, in town, like, where are they gonna be? Where do they hang out after? I thought about, like, can I just randomly walk up to someone and be like, "Langston Hughes, poets," have my writing right, like, "Here you go," and walk away, like,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah, I don't know, it's usually I who's the author? Or is a playwright, he talked about movies get made and it's a monkey miracle. It's a miracle that any movie gets made, and I do think there's some sort of magic, like, just being in the right place at the right time and being ready. The thing is you have this book. It's not like you don't have this book. You have this thing. It's in the world now. It could it's already going to help a lot of people, but who knows what else will come from it.
and I've
Yeah.
got that to send to the Big 5 and to agents and such, which I said I would do, and I've thought about it many times.
So you've been thinking about it. Yeah.
Been a while, but have thought about it before.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's just
definitely.
been rough.
Yeah. What we were talking about, there's moments in our life where we're more out there and hustling. And then there's moments where we have to get our energy and yeah. But we can end this here. I could keep talking to you forever, but I thank you so much for this conversation. And I'm going to send out this live and I'll put a link to it in the bottom of it. But I highly recommend people get a copy of this. You can get it at all the places. Amazon is, I have a link to that. I'll put in the
Ingram
copy.
Spark, and now it's on a couple other places I hadn't heard of. I'm like, I don't know how it ended up there. Um,
Okay. Yeah.
I think it's on, but Barnes& and Noble has it somehow, and then something else does. I don't know.
Okay, great. Well, if you have more links, I'll get them from you, but we'll definitely put a few
I
links.
only know the 2. I just know, like, I can look around some, but and anyone else who's here because of me, be sure you check out Ashley, hit that sub button. Don't be weird. That's one of my
Yeah,
lines. Don't
check
be
out
weird.
Wannabe Wisdom, Diaries of a Fake Guru. I plan on doing more of these kind of author talks. You are an official author.
If the shoe fits, I'm just like, I feel like I'm just that guy who, like, like, you think I'm writing something.
Already got, oh, thank you. Beautifully broken.
You read my book by candlelight.
Beautifully broken did?
Yeah,
Oh, amazing.
yeah, the power went out. Machine Poet, I think the one picture, he has the book, and it's the one non-scientific thing in his profile, like, "Whoa, I made it."
You made it. Yeah. Thank you so much, James. And I look forward to seeing you on Substack and reading your next post.
Got one tomorrow, it's gonna be a weird one.
Okay.
I got a lot this week. I've had a lot to think about. But yeah,